Hello and welcome to the video. In this video I'll quickly like to show you this thing here. This is the battery checker, the ISDT BC-8S. There's a link down below if you want to go and take a look. And the reason that I've got this is I'm starting to take lots and lots of batteries to the field and occasionally losing track of how much charge I have left in. Now the trick that we use is we have these like little indicator things on the batteries that we tend to use, and I try and religiously make sure that at the end of a flight I flick it onto red before I pop it down next to the charged battery bag. However, it doesn't always work, and occasionally I'm getting into a situation where I've been flying maybe for 5-6 minutes with the plane, want to bring it in, land it, and then need to check whether or not I've got enough battery power left to go and take it back up and make sure I've just sorted the problem out. So having something like this that you can check the battery level with is very handy. I'll just show you kind of very quickly how it works. You just plug the balance tap into the end, the little thing comes on, and it'll show you how much charge you've got left, the lowest cell count, and the overall pack. You've got a number of alerts here on the right hand side that if you click the bottom button you can scroll through. So there are my 3 battery voltages. Each of the cells are at 3.7 volts. Those little dots that you can just see, if I bring that in, there we go. Those little dots that you can see are actually the low voltage alarm levels, because the other thing this does is not only allows you to do stuff like this and see exactly where you are with each of the cells in your pack up to 8S, it also acts as a low voltage alarm on a model. And it has a couple of piezoelectric buzzers that sound out the end, and this end also flashes when you go past the low voltage alarm. Now I've used a lot of these things in the past, so things like this tend to be what I have on the bench when I'm charging stuff, and again this works in a very similar way. You kind of plug it in and it allows you to check exactly what you're looking at. So here this reckons we've got 12% left and it's about 3.7, so it agrees with the ISD cheat checker. Interestingly though, that's saying I've got 12% left, whereas this guy is saying I've got an awful lot more. This guy is saying I've got 29. That's probably the way that the menu's set up in this. So let me show you how you access the menu. You press this button at the top. To cycle through the views, it's this button at the bottom that we've already looked at. Pressing the top, holding it, will get you into the menu. You're allowed to select the battery type, so we can have LiFe, LiHV, lithium ion or LiPo. Next one, the low battery alarm, which is those dots, that's 3.6 volts. Press it again, over voltage alarm, 4.22 volts. Voltage unbalance alarm, if any of the cells that you attach is more than 0.15 of a volt from the others, then you'll get a warning. Location searching alarm. Now this is quite cute, so what you can do is if you attach this and use this as a low voltage alarm connected to your model, then when it detects that you've been flying and then you've stopped flying, i.e. the battery voltage isn't continuing to drop as though you were flying around, it will start to go off and it will flash the light and it'll start making a beeping noise. That's a really cute idea. 1 minute reminder if you leave it plugged in, silence operate, rotate display, there we go. So, press and hold it again. That's how it kind of works. Now the nice thing with this is as you keep it plugged in, as the battery starts to discharge, this thing that looks like a solid bar is actually not. It's actually 2 bars. One is the initial voltage it was when you plugged the battery in. The top one is the current voltage. So you can see how that changes as you're flying around. So I've been playing with this for a couple of weeks and I've got to the point now where I've realised that I'm not going to use it as some kind of low voltage alarm. It's quite big and bulky, and fitting it onto one of the smaller quads isn't useful. Putting it on a plane isn't handy either. The buzzers on this aren't particularly loud, but what I really like it as is something that I can keep in the bag. In the past I've actually kept one of these around. These are the FR Sky LiPo voltage sensors. Because it's so small and dinky, you can almost keep it in your pocket, and rather than you have to carry something like this around, you can plug it into a battery and immediately get all of your voltages. Now this is nice, but it's not really designed to be that way. So the reason I got this is because I'd like something that's kind of about this size but is very portable, and for that it's fantastic. If you want a little device that you can put in your bag and carry around and use to check the capacity of the batteries for you and your mate's stuff, then I definitely have a look at this. I've gone so far as to 3D print a little keychain holder for it so I can clip it onto the bag that I take to the field so that I'm never going to be without it. ISDT stuff I'm getting pretty impressed with. The ISDT mini charger here is very, very useful at the field. In fact, I've just got my hands on an absolutely massive lithium ion battery, a 14,000 milliamp hour pack that is very useful for charging, and I'll show that in a video very soon. So again, if you're interested in this, link's in the description, and I'll also put a link to my Thingiverse thing if you want to print out the holder to turn this into a little keychain battery checker. Thank you for taking the time to watch that video. We try and release at least 2 videos a week, usually a quick tip on a Tuesday and a more in-depth video on a Friday, and sometimes we manage to get a few more out as well. If you're interested in radio control, then the playlists are useful to have a look at. Anything that's called Introduction To is an organised set of videos that teach you from first principles about the subject that you're interested in. But we also have information about the majority of popular open source flight controllers, how to build quadcopters, fixed wing models, reviews, setups, unboxing, all kinds of things in here as well. So if you haven't already had a look at the playlist, then I'd recommend going have a look through here to see if there's anything that takes your fancy. Finally, we do also provide updates through things like Twitter, Instagram, and also post all of our 3D designs on Thingiverse as well. So if you like what we're doing here on YouTube, have a look at those things and subscribe to us there, and you'll find out what we're up to in advance of the videos coming out here on the channel.